Air-Ocean was the unit on meteorology, and our very first lab was called Rain in a Bottle. Rain in a bottle, as it might sound, is about how the water cycle works. So the first thing we did was take a look at the critical concepts, noting that we'd already talked about the atmosphere and the layers of the atmosphere, and that we really should be focusing on the water cycle, about rain, water vapor, and the energy that might have to do with that. That was my first little hint. The next was to do some research using chapter 1 and 2, but specifically the chapter about energy and the water cycle. After that, we talked about the fact that the atmosphere, troposphere, ionosphere, oxygen, things that we might find in the layers had already been discussed, but that we might want to talk about things like condensation, precipitation, conduction, convection, words that we hadn't really used yet, but that we could see if we were to take a look at energy in the atmosphere, what is weather, and other homeworks that would provide clues as to what this lab was going to be about. We then introduced the question to rain in a bottle and noted that it's easy to get drinking water unless you live in a desert. So the question, can you find fresh water, can you get fresh water out of dirty water, is pretty simple, really easy to change. But we'll note that there's not many materials here. Basically a 2-liter water, some cups, and some optional ice and sunlight. So I introduced the idea that the Kalahari Desert, a place where I'd lived for several years, was very dry, and the people that lived there, the Basarwa, had lived there successfully for about 60,000 years. That they were able then to use their resources and live within nature. So how do you live within nature and when you need water? So the next thing was to talk a little bit about the water cycle. We'd actually collected